Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast, where we discuss what's happening in the cryptosphere and trading on earth as it is in heaven. Buckle up and huddle on while we dive in and get weird. Here are your hosts, Joshua and Kim. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Kim.
Hey, what's your favorite thing to bring to a potluck?
I usually go to the grocery store and get like a veggie pack so I don't have to cook anything.
That's smart. I usually like to bring a dip. But not a crypto dip. It's my least favorite kind of dip. I'm okay with a queso or with a veggie dip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the markets right now are super down.
They are.
I don't even know. Can you still consider this a dip?
We talked about this slightly before we started recording, and I don't know what the actual definition of a dip is. We got to be past it. Like we're in a downtrend.
It's true. I don't even know what day it was. Maybe Friday something. I sent Josh a screenshot on the phone of the markets and I was like, what the heck is happening right now with Bitcoin? And it was like steep, almost 90-degree angle straight down. And, through the weekend, it just kind of continued.
Yeah, I have a little bit of money that I've put aside from some Christmas things that I'm waiting to invest. And I almost bought Bitcoin at 43. And then I was like, I'll wait a little bit. And then it hit 41. And I was like, I should buy in. And then it jumped the next day to like 42. And I was like, oh man, I missed it. And then I was like, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And now we're looking at 36. So glad I didn't buy in.
So a couple weeks ago, we did an article. Gosh, my brain, just bear with me. We did not do an article because we are not writers.
Right.
We did an episode because we're podcasting. Okay, we did an episode where we talked about the total market cap and just kind of where we are, where crypto was in general.
Mm-hmm.
I just did some calculations before we started. And from right now to 7 days ago, we are sitting at 80% of the total market cap that we were at 7 days ago. Then, just for kicks and grins, I said, maybe I should calculate where the markets are compared to 30 days ago, because December wasn't really great either.
Right. But we were coming off of a really strong November.
We were coming off a strong November. But from 30 days ago to 5 minutes ago, when I did these calculations, we are down 41.78% in the cryptocurrency global charts of the total market cap, which is huge. This is like such a decrease. Last week we were talking about, apparently I'm just talking a lot today. Last week we were talking about all of these people advertising, and I saw something on a football game commercial, which sparked me to, again, between Josh and I, we just have this side chat that is constantly going on about the markets. So I screenshot, here are the top exchanges and here's what their 24-hour trading volume is. So I took the same screenshot. That was last Sunday. Today's Monday. 2 days ago, so almost midnight on Saturday night, I took the same screenshot of the same screen in CoinGecko, and the numbers are so wildly different. The volume is way up, but based on the markets, I'm pretty sure it's all selling.
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
Either that or everyone's buying the dip and it's not being reflected in the charts.
I'm sure there are some people that are buying the dip, but it's clearly not the big money people who have the power to move the markets. Just recently, may have been on the last episode, we talked about how roughly 80% of people who've purchased Bitcoin have never sold it.
Mm.
So what that really means is the price movements that we see are caused by a small selection of people buying and selling with
Mm.
massive dollars,
True.
and they're causing the markets to move. And I'm sure there are, at this point with a drop like this, there are probably institutional and retail investors who are selling right now.
I was just going to say, based on that statistic from last week, I don't even know if we could get the numbers, but it makes me wonder how many of those 80% have now moved Bitcoin in or out of their wallet.
True.
Because this has been big movement over the weekend. Honestly, I'd rather see it go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are excited about dip sometimes because you can buy the dip, and that's the whole thing. But for me, I like to see some healthy
Right.
some health and wellness going on in the
Mhm.
markets, and this just doesn't feel so lively, I suppose.
Yeah, it'll be, both of us are very bullish for crypto in 2022.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see what happens over the next few months, because one of the things we were talking about before we started recording was we were looking at the 1 year charts,
Mm-hmm.
and crypto is, at least Bitcoin and some of the other major ones, are very similar positioned to where they were at January of 2021.
Right.
And January of 2021 was a really big year for crypto. There were massive increases in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And generally, that causes the altcoins to explode exponentially when the main ones go up.
Right.
And so we certainly have the potential for that to happen again, because we're sitting at about the same position at about the same time.
That's true.
The only difference is we're coming from different directions.
That's true. I think one of the things that people get so all up in arms about with crypto is that it's so volatile. Like, this is the number one argument I ever hear against cryptocurrency. But it's interesting to see, if you look at the year chart, we're not too far off from where we were last year. But if you look at the chart in between, like not just the start and finish, but everything in between, it has gone up and it has gone down. It's gone up again, and now it's back down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for movement, crypto is the way to be, or the place to be, I would say. If you're looking to hold, honestly, year over year, it's been steady increase. So if I can say something positive about this, we're still up from a year ago. So it has not dipped down below where we were a year ago. And we know a year before that, it was significantly lower as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still kind of moving in the right direction. It's just that this was a really big correction in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
That is a bit hard to handle, hard to stomach. We posted this meme the other day. So our last episode about holding or hodling was about perfectly timed.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it was a few hours after that everything really started taking a dive. And if you're a holder, if you're a hodler, like, it can seem scary. But if you're confident in the things that you've invested in, like we talked about, like, do you believe in the coins that you've invested in enough to see them through a dive, a dip, a crash, a fall, whatever you want to call, a correction, whatever you want to call is happening or could happen? And if so, you could just be sitting back and chilling out with this, because things are going to fall, but things are going to rise again too.
Mm-hmm. You've talked about volatility and the importance of having that in order to make money.
Mm.
But it really is true that you can't effectively make money in any market if there's not some form of volatility. That's what makes a market, is the ability to buy and sell at different prices.
Mhm.
So and I know I've had this conversation with a lot of friends before when they see dips like this and they're like, "Whoa, like this just isn't what I'm used to." It's because most people are used to looking at charts that don't move as quickly. They
Right.
might cover the same ground, but not generally as quick.
Mhm.
And crypto is just known for being a very fast moving product.
That's true.
So it requires a lot of emotional intelligence to be a crypto trader. It requires a lot of patience, and it requires you to be able to stay in a place of rest so that you can make good decisions while the market is zooming all around you.
Okay, you said so you can stay in a place of rest, right? Let's
Mhm.
talk about that.
Let's do it.
Because I'll just be honest, we're in a dip and everyone says buy the dip, right? That is just like the general,
Right.
I don't know what you say when things go down. This is the general advice for trading. But what if you're not in a healthy place to be trading? And I'm not even saying you don't have the money to trade or you don't
Mhm.
have the funds to trade. What if you're not in a good space and you're not trading from a good place? Then what?
I There's a lot of risk in trading anything or doing anything when you are not in a place of rest. I've heard just about every financial advisor I've ever talked about will say, don't trade with don't trade if you feel like you have to trade.
Mm.
And it comes from those people who maybe trading is their main source of income, or they're trading with money that they really can't afford to lose. You tend to not make good decisions if you feel like you have to make a trade. When you are paying attention to the markets and you're in a flow with a market, then you can make decisions not hastily.
Hmm.
You can take your time and you can make a good decision of when to get in and when to get out. But a lot of times what you get is FOMO while the market is going up. You you see the market going up, you see all your friends talking about their gains, and you say, "Man, I got to jump in on this." And so you do right at the peak of the mountain.
Mhm.
Then the market turns around, because it's normal in every market to take a breath. Even if you're on a steady bull run, it is common for the market to take a breath, ease down, and then continue up. It's just part of life. And you see the market kind of turn the other way. And if you FOMO'd in, you're probably going to be very quick to sell at the first sign of danger.
Hmm.
But if you're working from a place of rest, and I don't just mean not doing anything, but working at a place where your mindset is in a place of rest, where you don't feel like you have to make a trade, where you're not forced to do something, you can make better decisions. And so,
Hmm.
I would say those times in your life where maybe you have a lot going on, you've just been bombarded with a lot of stuff, and you see a dip like what we have right now, you're like, oh, that makes logical sense to buy it. But if you feel like you have to buy it right then, I would encourage you to wait.
That's probably really good advice. That's really good advice. I know for me, just being completely honest, and I'll just tell you where I am with my relationship with the Father and trading. So he has worked with me for almost a year now. And Josh, you kind of start on the same journey as me, but I'll let you explain anything you want to explain on your side. For me, he's been working with me almost a year about remaining and residing in rest. So stepping out of this place of doing and into a place of simply being. So based on my faith and my spiritual journey, it's about being a son of God and resting in that and operating only out of that. And so I'm not going to even go into it, but it's been a long year of that training. We had some really intensive parts of that training, some kind of practice runs where he would kind of let us go out and try it on our own out of our comfort zone. And then just stepping into it, just in the normal grind of everyday life. And honestly, I've gotten pretty good at it. And I'm not saying this to be like full of myself or anything, but really I can feel myself get into these places where I'm starting to shift from being into doing and putting the value in the doing, and then getting all the stress and the struggle that comes with that. I don't know what else to say for those words, but then being able to recognize it and step right back into rest and operating that way. And I am saying this just as a background of how he has been wanting us to trade. I say us because I know Josh has gone through a lot of the same stuff. So when I'm trading, it has to be from this place of rest, and it has to be from my position as a son of God. And if it's not a good trade with him, because it's coming out of this place of my soul, like where my mind, will, and emotions want to have control over things instead of who I am spiritually and my connection with him in that, how I was created, right? But I will say right now, I'm in such a soulish place. We were just talking about this before we started this podcast or this episode, and Josh he has his own journey, but he was saying kind of a similar thing about himself. Our situations are different. But I've been on this slow decline. This is not like the Bitcoin decline of last week. I've been on the slow decline of like getting out of a healthy place, and being able to operate spiritually and out of rest and into really trying to just keep things together with my soul. I laugh because otherwise I'll cry about it. It is just like, I've just been super stressed. There's a lot of things going on that are out of my control, that I can't just say, okay, I'm going to step out of this. I'm not going to do it anymore. Some obligations. But I say that I'm not also spiritually in a bad place. I'm working through it with the Lord. But it's also very clear that I'm not in a place to buy the dip, because I would not be buying the dip out of a place of being a son of God. I would be buying the dip out of the knowledge that I have that this is a good time to buy, which down the road is going to prove to be a bad trade. And if you've listened to any of our other episodes, I am in this 100% for whatever the Lord tells me to do. So that being said, I'm in a place where I can't buy the dip. If you're in a place where you can buy the dip, great, do it. Make sure it's good with the Lord. And make sure you're sourcing from the right place. But for me, I've got to find my place of rest again.
Yeah. I would say I'm on a, like you mentioned, we're both on a fairly similar journey, but even just with finding myself not in a place of rest, I would say my activities have been relatively the same, but my mindset has not been in a place of rest.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the biggest deal is as you said, logically makes sense to buy now or soon, because things are probably going to stable out at some point. But if I'm not in a place where I mentally am at peace and can really engage with what I'm trading in, I don't want to make that trade.
Yeah. Here's the good news. I guess at least we both have learned enough to not step out on our
To
own.
not make the bad trade, right?
Yes.
I guess
progress is progress, right? Any step
I guess
forward
if
is
there
still
is
good.
anything that we could encourage you guys with today, it's find that place of rest, find that right mindset where you are at peace, where you're in relationship with Father, and you can really engage the trading floors of heaven, the beans of heaven, and that you can make a trade that is good and acceptable and honors Father and everyone involved.
Yes. That's good. Okay. Thanks for joining today. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening. Join us every Monday and Thursday as we discuss trading on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to connect further, follow us on social media at market.mystics for Instagram and TikTok, and search for Market Mystics on YouTube and Facebook. If you still need more, follow the link on Facebook to book a coaching appointment. Until next time, see ya.